Hi, everyone. Welcome to lucky episode number 13 of the DoubleClutch.ca Podcast. I'm your host, Nick, managing editor of this fine establishment, and I really hope I don't die in this episode because it's lucky number 13.
What? Just you're here in the studio alone with me, and you assume you're going to die? Is that what I'm to intuit from this?
Well, I don't know. I mean, Imran couldn't make it today. It's just you and me in the studio, Nathan.
Yeah, but that means you're going to die.
Does it?
You're afraid you're going to die. You open up with, I'm afraid I'm going to die, because this is 13, and also 13. I'm in a room alone with you.
I'm not
This is
superstitious.
not nice. I don't appreciate it.
I'm not superstitious. I'm just a little stitious. That's all.
He said, officily. Is that like your mission? So you have any like office references you can pepper into this thing?
You have no idea how high I can fly.
Oh my gosh. That was good. That was quick.
So what have we been driving this week?
Let's see. So this week we're going to cover a little bit of what we had last week and some of the stuff we got this week. So we're going to be talking about the Mercedes S580, their big new flagship. Mm-hmm. We also have an older Mercedes flagship that came around the office for a little bit. So we'll be touching on that.
Nice.
Nick, you're driving a GLE 450E.
That
this
is correct.
week,
The plug-in hybrid.
serves. Yep. I have a GMC Canyon Denali, and then John, who's not with us at the moment, has a. I didn't kill him. He's still with us. He's just not with us currently in this room. I like John. Hi, John. He's driving a Mustang Mach-E long range.
Neat.
What is the trim? Like 4EX or something? How do they do the naming conventions on those things?
It's Mach-E 4X.
Right.
So when you look at the badge on the doors, it says Mach-E X.
Mach-X.
Mach-E X. Mach-X.
Right.
Yes.
Single motor long range.
Fun.
There we go. Okay. How do we want to start this? I guess we'll talk about
Tell-
my Mercedes, and we'll talk about your Mercedes.
Tell me about your two big black Benzes.
So last week I had a 2023 S580, decked out, fully loaded with everything except the iPad in the rear.
Mm-hmm.
I think literally every auction except Burmeister 4D and the iPad.
Yeah.
I didn't expect to love it, as some of you may recall. If there's any regular listeners, I have been somewhat vocal in my criticism of Mercedes in the past.
Justifiably so.
I may have been a little harsh at some points. This car's really nice. It's really nice.
It's interesting because you pitched a poll in the Double Clutch chat, and it kind of seemed like we were kind of divided as a team as to which is the superior flagship sedan, the S580 or the M760.
Yes. Which I adored. I think you and I both slightly prefer the BMW.
Yeah, I preferred it because say what you will about its looks, I'm still not big on the big sniff.
But it's not the worst sniff.
It's not the worst. Still not big on it, especially compared to how more conventionally attractive / timeless the S580 is.
Yes.
What really shocked me about the M760 was that it really belied its weight. It drove phenomenally well.
It's an enormous tank of a car, and
Yeah.
you would not know it from behind the wheel.
Yeah.
And that's not to say it's such a typical cliche thing to say Mercedes more luxury or BMW is more sporty. No, this thing is a boat. It is a limousine. It is so plush and soft and gentle, but it just also belies its size. It's engineering witchcraft.
Yeah.
So with this comparison, I expected it to be just a dunk. The 7's just gonna walk all over this thing.
Yeah.
The S it's a Mercedes, and I don't love them. Everything is capacitive touch. Everything is piano black. Everything is this giant touchscreen. It does so many things that I hate in a car.
Yep.
And it does them really, really fucking well. The car drives amazing. You can't do anything not smooth in that car. Everything is polished. Every movement is rounded off in a natural way. It's not dull. It's just smoothed over. It's deliberately finessing for you.
Is it the 4-liter V8 plus some sort of mild hybrid?
Yes.
Whatever?
Yeah.
Okay.
Same thing as everyone else. A 4 and change whatever V8.
Yeah.
Plus 4 and change whatever turbos. Plus 4 and change whatever volts of electric assist.
Yeah.
Yeah. I did not expect to like it as much as I did. That's the thing that struck me the most. Once I got over the capacitive, capricious touch controls.
Yeah.
I've warmed up to Mercedes MBUX.
That's what
Because I've always chirped you about it.
I feel like
I'm wrong.
consistently, I'm probably the only person on the team who actually doesn't mind MBUX. It's not that bad when you get used to it, and the voice controls actually work really well.
Yes.
And the fucking thing tells jokes. Really good dad jokes.
Does it tell good dad jokes? I actually haven't. I've been a bad supporter and haven't watched any of those reels you've made. I'm sorry.
It tells the best dad jokes, and so does the GLE, but we'll get to that later.
Yeah, like the UX works well. I like that one side of the steering wheel and its too many buttons is for the main screen and the other side is for the cluster. Like the way they set that up works really well. Like when you take time to get used to it, it works fantastically. Mm-hmm. Very much like iDrive. The difference with iDrive being I love the knob. I said it. I like the iDrive floppy knob. Like just having that single point of contact that can be used for everything.
Yeah.
I like that. I need that. I just really appreciate that. I think it's more intuitive than like thumbing around on a steering wheel or like trying to fist the screen.
Yeah.
What struck me the most about the car is that like with something like say the C43 that we had a couple weeks ago, that to me it lacked the polish that I would expect out of a Benz, in the sense that like it was rough around the edges. The trans logic programming shifting just didn't feel right. It felt like kind of like a beta almost.
Really?
It just didn't feel done. It just like it was so gruff. It was like fatiguing to sit in. I really did not care for that thing at all. It was very un-Mercedes of them.
Yeah.
I'm kind of getting that impression about a lot of the Benzes we've had over the summer and the fall. This 580, this S-Class, S stands for Sonder class, special class, and this car still feels special. There is a level of like mechanical polish, a level of engineering beyond the tech, beyond the glitz, beyond the like here and now gizmos and stuff. There is just an extra degree of crazy attention to detail and things you wouldn't notice. Like you take the car around the block and you wouldn't pick these things up. You have to live with it for a little bit and you start seeing these things like the start stop. Every fancy pants new car has a good start stop enabled except for Subaru. But like in this higher level, right, where it's enabled by like the 48 volt mild hybrid system with like its own generator separate from the starter to do this. They all work well. The Mercedes setup in this car in particular is like witchcraft. It is black magic. I don't know how they do it. The motor just shuts off and comes back to life with none of the starter noise, no crank, no turnover, no shuddering. Like even the BMW does that. You feel when it turns off, and it's kind of annoying, and it's annoying that you can't turn it off. And the Benz, I didn't want to turn it off because I didn't know it was working.
Yeah, you don't feel it in the GLE either, but again, we'll get to that.
Yeah, and it's just little things like that. There's just a little extra degree of like mechanical engineering polish behind all the glitzy tech.
Yeah,
it's amazing car. I'd still take the 7 personally.
Yeah,
but stunning car.
It's really too bad that none of that attention to detail and none of that specialness really translates into the EQS. Like I've said this multiple times, and having taken this S580 around the block, it really is as a flagship sedan, it really is on a completely different level than the EQS.
Yeah.
Like, I don't understand why Mercedes couldn't literally take the S-Class and make it fully electric. Just don't bother making it weird. Don't bother making it space age, whatever. Just make the current S-Class you have electric.
Yeah. Well, I think, so there's 2 reasons for that, at least that I'm aware of, is that they wanted a bespoke platform so that it could be more aerodynamically optimized and they could jam more battery into it without compromising interior room, because that space has to go somewhere.
Yep.
So there's that angle of it, and also the people who buy EVs want to be visibly different by and large. That's why like EVs look like EVs. There's very few stealth EVs, and the few stealth EVs don't really sell.
That's true.
Right?
I can't remember the last time I saw an Audi Q8 e-tron on the road.
Or a Kia Soul EV, or a Genesis DV70 electrified.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Actually, saw it.
Although, would you see them though? Because they're so stealthy.
Yeah.
Right?
Well, I mean, I did see a GV70 like on electric GV70 maybe 2 weeks ago in the wild. But
Yeah?
but again, that was the only one that I've seen like ever since it launched.
Right. Yeah.
But maybe I haven't been paying too close attention. I don't know.
Maybe the stealth is working. But either way,
Yeah.
if you want to be like an early adopter of this flashy, expensive thing, you want people to know, hey, look, that guy's an early adopter of the flashy flagship thing. Just like Teslas, right? Teslas have that because everyone wants the stupid Tesla because of the stupid brand recognition.
Yep.
And they want to be seen in the Tesla because they saw it on the internet, and that's cool. And that's the cool thing to have.
Yep.
So everyone else is trying to ape that by having a visually distinct EV-ish style. So that like you can say, I have that thing. Look at me rolling up in this thing. I have a thing.
It is very much a here and now kind of thing, keeping up with the Joneses.
My thing is better than your thing. My thing is bigger than your thing. It is longer than your thing. It's harder than your thing. Look at my thing. That's what that's about. That's what the EQS is about.
Yeah.
And I didn't appreciate that.
Do you think so we also spent some time with a W140 S-Class, which is arguably which is obviously the
S-classiest S-class of all.
I don't think anything in Mercedes-Benz's current portfolio will age as well as the W140 has today.
No.
Like 20, 30 years down the line, will we be looking at Mercedes's current lineup with the same fondness as we do right now with W140s?
I don't think so.
No.
And like that car is it's such a weird thing because it is so big, and it was like scandalously huge in 92 when it rolled out. And it's like a very simple proportions, no like flame surfacing, very little in the way of like details. It's just a big slab of car.
Yeah.
And I feel like that's kind of what I appreciate about the 760 is that it was aping that like big blockish vault style.
Yep.
That Mercedes has gotten away from, and BMW is like, oh, well, we'll just take that, thank you. And I caught those echoes in that 7.
Yep.
That's part of what I liked about it, just that striking hugeness, for better or worse. But yeah, this so we had a 99 S500, so last year it's black on monoblocks, like the exact spec you want one of those cars to be. It's glorious. The thing that struck me the most about it is that like, so I took this car out for a drive during the same week that we had this S580, so like back to back.
Yep.
It doesn't feel old. It doesn't feel dated. It doesn't feel appreciably worse. This 30-year-old car with 200K on it doesn't feel appreciably worse than this brand new flagship. And that's ridiculous. No
that's pretty
squeaks,
remarkable.
no rattles. It does the same kind of like waft on highways. Like it's without like floating or being boaty. It's just very soft. Everything is that same polish. Every input is rounded off. Like you can't be a jerk in that car. Or can't jerk yourself around, I should say. Jerk your passengers around. I forget it.
That is distracted driving, my friend.
Yeah. But yeah, just like the level of fit and finish and quality and how well the thing drives and how clear and tight the family resemblance is despite being so far apart in age is really astonishing. And I'm very much looking forward to writing about that car later.
It's interesting because like it's interesting that the W140 S500 that we all played with, it's interesting that you mention it still feels as good as the current one, because even when you look at infotainment systems from 10 years ago, like they still feel like they feel absolutely worlds apart.
Yeah.
Right now.
Yeah, because it's like picking up an old phone.
So I just can't imagine how well those current systems will hold up in the future.
Yeah, like that's something I've been harping on about a lot. Like all these cars are going to date themselves horrifically as they lean more and more on this tech. It's going to become more and more dated more and more quickly. Whereas this 140 has a radio, a cluster. There's nothing that's going to date itself in there.
Yeah.
Outside of like visibly being an old car and not having gloss black everything and touchscreens everything. Like it feels old because it is old, but it doesn't feel dated and useless.
Yeah, that's the one thing I didn't like about the S580 was that like just that massive acreage of gloss black plastic on the center console. Meanwhile, when you look at something that is maybe still available in Mercedes' current lineup, like the GLE 450e.
Nice transition.
Thank you. There is, like, I couldn't find a lick of piano black plastic in that interior.
I was so impressed with that car.
Yeah.
So I just took that thing out for a drive.
It's
like,
really
actually
fucking good.
floored. Like that is exactly the product Mercedes should be making. I love that dashboard design. I think it's the older. Correct me if I'm wrong. I think it's the older style dashboard design.
Yes, it is.
Where it's simpler. It's not quite as flowy. It's just like tight vents, widescreen. Here you go, and a trackpad. And like I'm a bitter old man. I love trackpads. I love the trackpad in that thing.
And you have physical climate controls.
And there's physical climate controls.
And yet it does feel a little bit dated in the sense that, you know, Mercedes is chasing that postmodern weird for the sake of weird hyperscreen layout in their.
I don't think it's that. I think
vehicles.
they're chasing like the Tesla-ism of portraitness, like the portrait Tesla portrait style screen, and they're just kind of angling it back towards the driver, making it part of a flowing dash, in the name of ergonomics.
Yeah.
But I think it's actually, and maybe this would be being super cynical, I think it's just trend chasing.
Yeah, that's fair.
Although I guess in Mercedes' defense, you either go portrait or go ultra wide. Like there's only two ways to do screens now. We're kind of like approaching that standardization.
Yeah.
Right, we're all video game controls approached like they're either Call of Duty or Halo. That's it.
Yeah.
There's no other way to set up a controller.
Yeah.
Right, we're getting
That's
to
fair.
that singularity.
Yeah. But like, I like the fact that the GLE's interior kind of felt old school because it doesn't really slap you. It doesn't slap you in the face with like Mercedes sort of trying to reinvent the wheel as they have in their other vehicles.
Mm-hmm.
It just feels nice inside.
It's a nice place to sit. Like you have black leather, white leather, brushed aluminum, the vents that frame the screen, which I love.
Yeah, it's very well integrated into the dashboard.
It looks great. Like it looks great. It feels great. There's no stupid gloss. It's very physical.
Yeah.
Like you called it old school, and I think it's a little silly to call it old school because it still looks fresh and new like a modern product, but it's not as aggressively like gimmick futuristic like a lot of Benzes are.
Yeah.
It's like kind of classic pragmatic Benz engineering.
Yeah. Kind of like what you talked about in your still to be published W123 story.
Mm-hmm.
It just kind of channels that same sort of like simplicity, that same sort of solidity over trends.
Yeah, like it has to function first.
Yeah.
And I really appreciate that about it. And it drives great. Like you've had the thing
It
longer than
does.
I have, so what do you think about it on the road?
Drives fantastic. I totally thought it had the 3-liter V6 under the hood,
And I thought it had the straight six.
It has neither. It has a 2-liter 4-cylinder, believe it or not, and it's hooked up to a plug-in electric powertrain. Give me 1 second. Let me pull up the numbers here.
So how much of the heavy lifting is done by electricity?
That is a great question.
And how much electricity can you put in it?
Okay, so the gas engine alone pushes out 248 horsepower. The electric motor pitches in 134. So you got and that's paired to a 23 and change kilowatt hour battery. So
it's not nothing.
So in total, you got net 381 horsepower, 479 pound-feet of torque.
It doesn't feel like it. Like I like the car a lot. It does not feel like 380 horsepower.
No, it definitely does. It definitely feels. Yeah, it's not as punchy as I thought it would be. The gas engine alone, it does boogie off the line when you punch it off the.
Like it's not slow. It just doesn't feel as fast as those numbers would indicate.
Yeah, and by the same token, it isn't quite the same kind of. It's not quite the same jack of all trades as the X5 plug-in hybrid is.
See, I didn't get to sample that. So, did you?
No, but Ben, shout out to Ben.
Hi, Ben.
He had absolutely amazing things to say about it. Basically, he he came away thinking like that's probably the perfect family hauler.
I can believe that.
Yeah. I don't get that same sense with the GLE 450E, but it's pretty fucking good.
It's really good. I was super impressed with that. What takes it away from that level of perfect? Like, what's so... you told me you were going to measure this. You haven't measured it yet. But what is the advertised electric range on that thing?
It's actually... It actually goes pretty far on EV power alone. It's 77 kilometers of EV-only range, which
That's healthy.
It's... I can't remember what... I can't remember off the top of my head what the Range Rover Sport PHEV put out. But I think it's in the same neighborhood.
And I think the X5 is like 90.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's definitely up there. If you have a short commute or even a somewhat longish commute, mine.
Yeah, that would take me to and from the office, no sweat.
Oh, easily.
Yeah.
I wouldn't burn a drop of gas if I commuted to the office. But I picked it up with maybe about 34 kilometers of range, so the battery wasn't fully charged.
Right.
So I can't quite comment on how
like
much range
actual range.
Yeah. But 77 kilometers is pretty good.
Pretty healthy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, because I commute from like west end of Toronto to Oakville.
Yeah.
And like that would get me to and from no
Absolutely.
sweat.
Same
no
here.
sweat.
Same here. It's quiet, super quiet. There's
like,
almost no road noise.
It's remarkably well isolated, especially for like a air quotes like old shape.
Yeah.
Like Mercedes been making this body for a while now.
Yeah.
And like it's still impressively refined. It's so quiet. It rides great. It drives well. A little artificially in the steering. You don't feel that? Like artificially-er than usual?
A little bit, but I give it a pass because big SUVs like that, you don't really care about the driving dynamics, so I kind of give it a pass.
Yeah, I wasn't talking shit. Like this is well within acceptable levels.
Yeah. But it's very light. I can basically steer with my index finger.
Yeah. Rides great, drives great, lots of space.
Yeah. Perfect spec, I think. It's got the AMG package.
It's so pretty, dude.
Dark green on like a very light beige, almost white interior.
Like
fucking perfect spec.
It's such a nice spec, and it's like super dark green. Like in anything but direct sunlight, it is black.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I picked it up at night. I thought it was black, and then the next morning it was sunny. I took my dog for a walk. And I was like, holy shit, it's dark green. Oh my god.
Yeah, it looks great, and like the AMG package isn't overwrought on that. It's mostly just wheels.
Yeah.
And it works.
Yep. I hate to admit it, but yeah, it actually does work. And unlike BMW, Mercedes doesn't smack you in the face with a bunch of AMG badges either. It's just...
I'm sorry, are you shit talking BMW on this podcast right now? On air? Are you doing this right now?
I am simply pointing out that while BMW tends to bash you over the head with M badges on vehicles that aren't actually M cars,
they do.
Mercedes simply gives you when you take the AMG package, they simply give you nice bumpers, nice wheels that admittedly do have AMG logos on there, and that's it.
Yeah, I'll give you that. It's a lot more.
It's a little more subtle.
It's a little more subtle. I was gonna say tasteful, but I still don't love the grille with the Mercedes star thing that they have to do.
A lot of stars. The GLE 300 also had that. I tried to count how many stars were on the grille. I lost.
It's just dizzying.
Yeah.
Yeah, nice vehicle, and like, so part of how you and I were both able to get the powertrain wrong is that it does not sound like a four-banger at all. I thought, this could be the straight six. It's kind of limp-wristed, but it could be. And, like, okay, maybe Nick's right. Maybe it is like the older V6 or a different V6.
Like, it is pretty heavy to begin with.
Yeah, but just the sound and the feel of the thing, like, it was refined to such a point that it didn't feel like a four-banger. Whereas
for not dissimilar money. Oh, okay, so a few months ago, we also had the Jeep Grand Cherokee Trailhawk 4xe or 4xe, however, I forget how you actually pronounce it. As tested, that thing was about $88,000.
Mm-hmm.
I really wanted to like the Grand Cherokee. I've always enjoyed the previous generation Grand Cherokee, so I had high hopes with this one.
Yeah, the new one looks amazing.
It does look great.
Yeah.
I sampled the 4xe powertrain in a Wrangler. I think it was like last year or the year before, whatever. It was middling.
Yeah, I thought it was fine in that application.
Yeah, but it's very, like, in the Grand Cherokee, it's very choppy, very unrefined. You definitely do feel when the gas engine kicks in.
It's so coarse. Like it's a very journalisty thing to bitch about, but like it is such a rough, unrefined agricultural. It feels like someone's like pulling a ripcord on a lawnmower under the hood of that thing.
It's almost Subaru levels of course.
Yikes, dude. You know what? I think no. Let's not shit talk. Hang on. Subaru's actually come a long way with that. I don't know that I love that they've come a long way with that because they've ironed out all the character out of those engines.
Fair.
But they have. Whereas and
you still got a bit of grumbliness in certain.
Yeah, because I drove Zach's Grand Cherokee 4xe last year.
Yeah. And
like it was a short drive, and I was like taken aback at how like just nasty that engine and transmission were. Like it felt like a lawnmower engine, like a nasty lawnmower engine being driven by like a kid learning to drive stick for the first time. It was so weird and motorboaty, like an otherwise beautiful vehicle. I hated it. I couldn't believe it.
And I'm pretty sure you basically get half the range in the Grand Cherokee 4xe, so about 30. The 35 is 35 kilometers is sticking in my brain, but I could be wrong. 35 to 40ish. It's basically half of what the GLE gives you.
Yeah.
And at 88 grand as tested for the 4xe, it was expensive for what it was, especially when you consider the fit and finish. Like that thing had a ton of hard plastic in the interior. And you do get like the...
Speaking of journalist things to bitch about.
I know, right? You do get more... you do get better materials as you climb through the through the
like a decked Grand Cherokee is fucking gorgeous.
Yeah, but for like 88 grand as tested versus 90,100 to start for the GLE 450e, that is one very tough decision to make. Actually, no,
is it?
It's not a tough decision to make.
Yeah, because like. And it comes back around to that Mercedes level of polish.
Yeah.
Right? Like, it's just that little bit more well thought out, a little bit more mechanically sorted.
Yep.
It just feels that much nicer to use. It feels like the expensive product it is. Whereas the Jeep, and I especially wanted to like it, and it looks great. It's just kind of a letdown in that regard. I mean, with that powertrain in particular.
I mean...
I want to specify that because I really like that thing.
To be fair, our GLE 450 has about... 12 grand worth of options on there, so it's 102 630 as tested.
Okay.
But if you dock the AMG package, the 21-inch wheels, and the aluminum running boards, which Mercedes seems to charge about $1,000 for, which are kind of useless because that thing's not very big.
It's not high enough to need it.
You can probably get it like well under the 90 grand mark. And like that's actually pretty good.
That's pretty impressive value
for a very fancy, very smooth plug-in hybrid EV.
But also, like, it flips around. Depends what you want, because like we're sitting here talking about a $90,000 family SUV thing, with a 2-liter 4-cylinder engine, and we're saying this is great value. Like, isn't it weird how that's turned around? Like,
it kind of is because, like, well,
I thought it was a straight 6. You thought it was a V6. And we're sitting here going, oh, it's a little 4-popper. Like, no, it's still not bad.
Like, it actually isn't.
Yeah. Whereas in something like, say, the GMC Canyon that I have this week, the Canyon, the new Canyon, and does the Chevy equivalent still exist anymore?
Yeah, they still do the Colorado.
They still do the Colorado.
Yeah.
But the Canyon is exclusively powered by GM's new, like, 2.7-liter Turbo 4 engine that was debuted in like the base level Silverados.
Yep.
And saw like a brief stint. I shouldn't say brief stint. Is also selectively deployed in some cars like the CT4V.
Yes.
Not the Blackwing, just the slightly hot
the
CT4V.
But you still can't get a Camaro with that engine, which is...
Yeah. I didn't like it in the CT4V, and I thought, okay, maybe like it's kind of like gruff, torquey, whatever kind of character would suit a truck, and it still doesn't. This truck is disappointing because I really wanted to like it.
It looks great.
It looks fucking excellent.
Yeah.
It is such a good looking
And you
truck.
have the Denali too, so you
Yeah.
have the nice big wheels, chrome trim everywhere.
Yeah.
It's not overly chromey. It's pretty tasteful.
Super tasteful. And
Yeah.
like the GM kind of semi-voluptuous-y proportions,
Yeah.
exaggerated on a smaller shape like that. It's funny to say small because that thing is as big as an 03 Silverado.
Yeah, pretty much.
But yeah, the truck looks like $1 million. It drives bewilderingly well.
Yeah.
Like outside of powertrain nitpicks, like it drives,
Yeah.
it handles great, brake feels great. Like it feels like surprisingly good. If you
Mm-hmm.
put a good motor in that thing, it'd be ridiculously fun to drive.
Like the 3.6 liter V6.
Like
that
the
they
3.6 V6.
used to have.
But that motor is harder to make compliant.
Yeah.
Doesn't have as much torque. It's harder on gas, I think. Maybe. I'm not sure because this thing is good but not amazing.
Yeah, I saw you're going to like 12.9, 13 liters per 100K.
Yeah, and
That's not that good.
It's not amazing. It's not bad though because like in the same use case in the Silverado High Country that I had a few months ago, where it's like 50-50-ish of like sitting in traffic and highway cruising.
Yeah.
I was doing like high 14s if my memory serves. And it's really easy to dip like 15, 16 if you have a heavyish foot at all.
Yeah.
Whereas in this, it's kind of like you're pegged right around 13 regardless of what you're doing.
Yeah.
So like it's not amazing. You would hope for more for this 4-cylinder engine, but it's not bad. I think the biggest thing, and this is something we've touched around before, the importance of acoustics.
Yeah.
Right? Like we touched on this like when we were talking about the Challenger, right? If you were deaf, would that car still be interesting? If you were deaf, this thing would be a lot better. And it's a dumb... If there's any engineers listening to this, like the 2.7 liter turbo 4 in this truck is actually a marvel of engineering. The amount of shit that GM put into this motor to make it torquey and reliable remains to be seen, but hopefully reliable,
Yep.
efficient, compliant, refined-ish. Like they've thrown a ton of shit at the wall. I could go on to it for a while. Like the amount of programming that went into it. Like it has variable deactivation, so that if you give it like partial throttle, it'll calculate what you're asking for, and depending on conditions, it will shut down 2 cylinders because it's more efficient to run 2 cylinders at a greater load than have all 4 at a lower pressure because there's slightly less pumping losses. Like little crazy nerdy shit like that.
Yeah.
Like your right foot is not actually directing anything.
Yeah.
You're just requesting power, and it's figuring out how to give it to you.
Yeah.
And the start stop is impressive, and it's stupidly clean on emissions. Like
Yeah.
engineering masterpiece. Like
It just
it's
sounds
so
like-
impressive.
It just sounds terrible.
And it has no character. It sounds like shit. It is raw. It is gruff. It is loud.
Yeah.
And it's like not the fun kind of gruff and loud, right? Like if that truck sounded kind of like a Subaru, or something like a Focus RS, some kind of throaty that had some like soul behind it, I could see it working.
Yeah.
In this application, it just, like, I don't know. Half the time it's fine, but when you get on it at all for any reason, and it's just kind of like,
Yeah.
like trying to take off at like $2-3 grand, like it's just so economy car shitty. It sounds very much like my mom's 03 Focus from 03. Like it's just drony and weird and yeah. And I don't know. What did you think? You drove the thing. What did you think?
Well, I was surprised at how comfortable it was, especially for a pickup. Looks good. The new interior is nice. So a bit of a background. It is refreshed for 2023.
Yeah,
so you have
brand
a
new vehicle. Yeah.
So you have a new. Wait, is it refreshed or totally redesigned?
I think it's a brand new vehicle.
Okay.
'Cause I remember when I saw it in LA last year, I was super impressed with it. It
Yeah.
looked like $1 million.
The ZR2s and the ZR2s look, and the AT4X, that's GMC's version. They look fucking badass. But this one's the Denali. Still looks good. Interior's comfy. Definitely more. A lot of, again, here's my auto journalist hat. A lot of hard touch materials in there for like 60 grand, especially in a Denali.
That's the problem.
Yeah.
I like this truck a lot. I could get over the powertrain.
Yeah, the
I
interior
could get
does
o-
feel kind of shitty for a Denali.
I could get over it until I found out it was 62 grand.
Yeah.
And also like, come on, what are you getting? Right, like a base one. I can't remember if it's 48 or 53, but like outside of adaptive cruise and like maybe a better sound system, and like a tiny smattering of wood and like slightly nicer seats, I don't understand really what you're getting. I feel like it's like, I don't know. I struggle with it, man. Like I want to like this thing, and I feel like in 10, 15 years on the used market, I probably will like this thing. Yeah. But right now in the modern climate, like in that marketplace, in that segment, for what other truck you can get, either from the full size or from other mid sizes around that price point, I don't know, man. I struggle to justify it. I really wanted to like it, and it drives so good.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see how the new Taco compares to it.
Yeah.
But
because like new Taco's coming.
New Ranger's coming too.
New Ranger's coming.
Yeah.
That's going to be interesting. So like this, they're at a really sticky point with this.
Yeah.
But I mean, like, also, like, the last Taco I had was, like, it was a manual transmission and cloth seats. Like, the thing was crazy base spec.
Yeah.
And it was still $50,000. This is a much nicer truck than that. Like, way nicer truck.
That's true. For a $10,000 difference between the two, between a current Taco and a brand new Canyon Denali.
Yeah.
It's not that. It's kind of worth it.
It is worth it. It is that much nicer of a vehicle. It does drive very well. It is pretty efficient. Like, especially if you're not hauling 4x8 sheets of plywood, if you don't need like an actual huge box.
It's a small bed too.
It is a very small bed, but most people don't need a huge bed. It's a kind of a weird thing. Like, we keep trucks around to do truck things with. So when we pick a truck, we pick a big truck so we can do truck things with.
Yep.
This is not a truck to do truck things with. Because it's not big enough to do truck things.
It is a truck to do car things with, which is what most people do with trucks anyway.
Bingo. But it is still a truck. It's not like the unibody trucks. It's definitely still a truck. It feels like a truck. Yeah. It's tight. It rides decidedly firm. Although, what I was most floored by, like, despite being like a truck-based body, truck frame, I should say, there's no shutters. Like, it is such a stiff architecture. Yes. There's zero shutters, no shimmies, none of the weird side-to-side shit you get out of most, like, box frame trucks. The thing, is so composed.
Surprisingly smooth.
Yeah. Like really impressive engineering and fantastic styling. I don't know, maybe I'm just in a tizzy about it, but, like, I'm a little struggling with the price. But then I know, like, the new Taco in a nice spec is going to be about that.
Yeah.
Ford's not going to give any money up. They'll be in the same point.
Oh, yeah. Did you manage to get wireless CarPlay, Android Auto working?
I am a heathen and I don't use those things. Someone tried really hard to make the software in these vehicles, and I intend to use it. Yes.
We talked about this.
Yes, exactly. And I want to use the software in the car.
But they also worked to integrate that. Okay, so
No, they didn't. Some guy was just trying to dial a plug-in into that.
Where I'm going with this...
You know what? If I'm wrong, I don't want to be wrong. If I'm wrong, if someone out there is actually working really, really hard to make CarPlay talk to a car, and I just shout on your work, I'm sorry. But I feel like more people set up the infotainment.
I can get wireless CarPlay to work reliably in the Trax RS last week. It just would not connect. And when it did connect, in the rare occasions that I could count on one hand that it would connect, it would drop within like 5 minutes.
That's annoying.
That is fucking infuriating.
That's all people want a modern car to do.
Yes.
Does it have CarPlay? No, I don't want it. Like, that's it.
Yeah. So
bummer. I'm sorry, man. That's okay. So I have my own nitpicks because I'm weird and fussy about shit, and you can't use your phone. So that's brutal. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Otherwise, wonderful vehicle.
Surprising truck.
Yeah, I really liked it.
Truck to do truck things.
Yeah, I think mixed bag. I feel kind of disappointed. I think it's mostly from the powertrain.
Yeah.
I feel like I'd be way happier at like a mid-level one at like 53, I think. 53, 55. I think I'd be pretty happy with it.
Yeah, because then you can kind of forgive some of its
shortcomings, yeah. See, I think the other thing is, like, Denali's come with nicer powertrains, right?
Yeah.
Whereas there is no nicer powertrain in this.
Just one and done.
You get that 4-popper and that's it.
Yeah. Versus in the Sierra, you get the good V8.
Not necessarily. You get a V8. So in the Denali, you get the choice of 5.3 or the 6.2.
Oh, really?
Or the diesel motors. I
totally thought the Sierra Denali Denali was 6.2 only.
See, that is exactly what I thought. But then they rolled out the Denali Ultimate, which is now the new flagship, the new Denali. So the Denali, just like the M badge, can be like put on anything now.
Yeah.
And the Denali Ultimate is like the flagship that only has the nice shit.
Ah, okay. So that one has the 6.2.
Yeah.
Okay,
or like on the Silverado High Country I had, basically Silverado's Denali, like that was a $93,000 truck.
Yeah.
That didn't have adaptive cruise. And this does for 30 grand less. So like there's something there. There is. The more I think about it, the more it makes sense. I think I'm just got in my head about it.
You know what else didn't have adaptive cruise for $90,000 to $100,000 this week?
That Benz doesn't have adaptive cruise.
The GLE.
Pathetic.
Garbage.
See this is the thing, right? Like, and the Jeep did.
It's not actually garbage.
No, it's not garbage. But like the Jeep you were talking about, did have that, didn't it?
It did. It did.
That's the
thing.
Grand
Cherokee did.
Right. So like it's a matter of like I can put features on a list, and then the Jeep will have more things, whereas the Benz will have more polish.
Yeah.
What do you want?
It has. Well, the Mercedes arguably has just as much things,
but not the thing.
Yeah.
What is life in a modern car without adaptive cruise? What is the point of driving if the car's not going to drive itself? All we do is sit in traffic, especially with these PHEVs. They are perfect for sitting in traffic because they regenerate their own electricity.
Yeah.
Why do I have to do it manually?
Bullshit.
Speaking of electricity.
Speaking of sitting in traffic and generating its own electricity and powering itself.
We also have a Ford Mustang Mach-E this week. Okay, Nick, can you answer this for me?
Okay.
This is an important question.
Okay.
Anyone listening, at me on this. Like,
okay. At autofixated on Instagram.
Yeah, or at DoubleClutch.ca. Like, I would love to know an answer for this. Ford owns the rights to Thunderbird.
Yes.
They are making a product called Lightning, which is an electric vehicle. Why would you not have Thunder and Lightning? If they wanted to do the retro callback thing, you already have the Lightning set aside for the truck, and that makes sense because there was an F-150 Lightning previously.
Yes. And that arguably back then was the performance of F-150, and it's kind of the closest thing you can get these days to a performance F-150.
Precisely. It is a logical step.
Yeah.
Now, you want to do a car. You have Thunderbird. You have that name in your back pocket. That's a name that people know, and it sounds cool.
Yeah.
And you go, let's copy the silhouette of a Tesla Model Y and put a horse on it and call it a fucking day. Why?
So, I struggle with that myself, too. But I feel like nobody would... I feel like anything electric that Ford would have put out without the Mustang badge would have faded into oblivion very quickly. So I can understand, I can respect why they call it the Mustang Mach-E. It's bullshit, but I see why they did it.
It's just so we talk about it, but we're talking about it for the wrong reason.
But
and it's a good car.
But people still buy these things, though. I see so many on the road.
Yeah, there's a good amount of them. I just okay, picture this. Let me pitch you this, okay?
Okay.
They have the Lincoln Continental. That is an architecture that exists. Raise it by 4 inches, a la the Toyota Crown.
Okay.
Put a new fascia on it. Call it a Thunderbird. And make it EV powertrain. You raise it a little bit so that you can put batteries in it.
Yep.
And now it's a Thunderbird. Isn't that badass? Like, picture this in your head.
That's pretty fucking cool.
Big, badass sedan. Because the Thunderbird, for most of its life, was a big luxury car, big sedan.
Yeah.
Right? Like, we think about the first ones, but they were mostly big luxury cars.
Yep.
So do that. But instead, we have a Tesla cutout with a Tesla touchscreen and Tesla button doors and a Mustang face and taillights. And that's what we're talking about. Instead of this distinct, cool product.
But it gets people talking. That's the thing about the previous Continental. It was cool. It looked great. It had presence. But nobody cared about it. And I don't think anybody would care about any Ford EV unless it was branded Mustang.
Yeah, but the whole thing about EVs, as we were just talking about, is to be distinct, to be very obviously EV, to be very obviously different. And they didn't do different. They did they did the same anonymous teardrop everyone else did. Realized, well, fuck, we can't redesign the damn thing now. Put a horsey on it. I think that's what happened. I really do think that's what happened. Well, the focus group said they wanted this, so we did this. And the focus group said we wanted that, so we did that. And the focus group wanted a fucking Tesla.
I wonder if the focus group set to call it a Mustang.
Possibly, maybe. No, that sounds like
I don't
cynical.
think so.
That sounds like cynical product planning to me.
People would still be pissed off if they call it a Mustang.
Also, I just thought of this. I will take this opportunity to remind you that the first popular Tesla was a...
Was it Lotus?
No, the first popular
No?
Tesla that sold in...
Model S?
It was a Model S. Was a big sedan. Because it was striking and
It's
different. And who the fuck else was making a big sedan?
It's true.
EVs to that point sucked. They were little economy hatchbacks. Oh my god, like a Mach-E. So Tesla struck out with a sexy Model S,
Yeah.
and they sold approximately 4 billion of them and put Tesla on the map, and then they could crank out garbage after that. Because
but
they
now what
already
can they
made a
crank
splash
out?
with the sexy thing.
Yeah, but now what Teslas do you see the most of? It's all Model.
That's all 3s and Ys.
It's all Model
because they're
Ys.
cheap and they suck, and that's what people want. And that's what the focus groups wanted, and that's fine. But like, if Ford wanted to make a splash, the way to do it would have been to make a compelling product instead of to make a pretty decent product with a divisive name on it. This thing personally offends me, especially because it's otherwise pretty good, like dull but pretty good.
Yeah.
And like the GT ones, like the fast ones aren't even bad. Like they drive
Yeah.
great. They handle really
Yeah.
well. They're quiet. They're luxurious. They ride like they don't have the QC issues we've seen in other Fords.
Yeah.
Like they got good range. They're
When you cut through the bullshit of what Ford should and or shouldn't have called it, the Mach-E actually is pretty easy to live with.
it's a good vehicle. Like it's practical. It's comfortable. Like I already said, it's practical, comfortable. It rides well. Like it's isolated.
Yeah.
It drives well enough. The one pedal mode works well. The infotainment, as much as I don't like that they aped the Tesla style portrait screen because you can go one way or the other, and Ford went after Tesla. Like it works. It's a good vehicle. It's just I don't get it. And also our tester this week, so it's pretty loaded. Like
Yeah.
like leather stuff, power stuff, panoramic stuff. It's got stuff and the long range battery stuff, but only single motor stuff. So it's not fast.
So it's rear-wheel drive.
Rear drive.
Okay.
Is it rear drive? 4X?
No. 4X will be all-wheel drive.
This is the problem. And also the naming scheme is so convoluted and they're so boring that I don't give a fuck.
The badge says Mach-E.
But like, we kind of have come to expect EVs to be fast from the Tesla Model S.
Yeah.
This thing is not fast. It is not even on the same planet as fast. It drives well, but it's not fast. If you're looking for something interesting, you have to spend over $100,000 for a GT. And that's the other problem I have with this thing is that like, it's nice. It's $86,000.
Jesus, that's not cheap.
That is $2,000 more than a GV70 electrified, which we all adored.
Which
is also faster. It has less range, admittedly.
That's roughly the same neighborhood as the GV60 Performance, which is phenomenal EV.
Yeah.
It's about $10,000 more than the Kia EV6 GT, which I wasn't really impressed with.
Sorry, that's 10 more than an EV6 GT?
Yeah, the EV6 GT, that's 72, mid-70s. I'll call it mid-70s.
Okay, so you know what? Like, I don't think you have to talk to you about this because I was looking forward to trying that EV6 GT, and like just due to the way the week worked out, I never got to see the thing.
Yeah.
Tell me about it.
Great powertrain. It does everything a performance EV should. So it has that neck snapping torque. It'll keep you pinned to your seat until you chicken out. Decent range. We had it in winter, and I think the best I got out of it was like 330-ish kilometers before I had to chicken out and plug in, which wasn't bad.
That's not
considering
nothing.
It
was cold that
the
week.
middle of winter.
Yeah.
It's not bad.
Yeah.
I was really, really let down by the interior.
Really?
For 75 and change, it felt really cheap as that. Plus, it had manual goddamn seats.
Oh. That's
For an
disappointing.
EV flagship, that's it also really underwhelmed me in the sense that it's supposed to be the spiritual successor to the Stinger.
Okay.
As Kia's flagship, and when the Stinger came out, that basically flipped the sports sedan segment on its head. It was a world beater. It was like, holy shit, you get 9/10 of a 3 Series at $20,000 less. It's fantastic. I don't get the sense that same sort of world beating qualities with the EV6 GT.
I mean, $75 grand for 600 and whatever horsepower is not bad.
Okay, but you can also, I would much rather sacrifice 150 horsepower, go for a Genesis GV60 Performance with maybe with what,
480, I think.
480-ish horsepower?
I think it's the same powertrain as in the GV70 I had, which was like 480.
Yeah.
And like 660 foot-pounds or something stupid like that.
That thing
felt too fast.
Yeah. And that's the thing. It felt fast enough. It felt stupid enough.
Yeah. Especially in my application in the GV70, where like this chassis was not set up for this, and you can feel it.
Nope. And yet it does feel much. It actually feels more worth the money than the EV6.
That makes sense to me. Did you try drift mode? Because that's the thing, right? Like I was gonna say, that's the killer app because that's like a common term of phrase in reviewing products. So this is the killer app you got to have. But in EVs, is literally a fucking app because there's no other character in the damn thing.
I can confirm that there was snow that week. I can confirm that I allegedly sampled drift mode, and it is allegedly very tail happy, as you would expect something with 576 horsepower to be.
Very good. Okay.
Yes.
So like that works good. That works
it
well.
Does.
That's kind of what you're paying for, right? That's sort of, it's meant to be like the hooligan-y EV.
Yeah. But when I'm dropping 75 grand on an electric vehicle, I don't want manual goddamn seats.
Well, isn't the GT specifically get manual seats because it's lighter? I think I remember hearing that. I could be talking out of my ass, but I thought I heard it.
What kind of EV is light?
I don't know.
There's no such thing as a lightweight EV. So like, why even bother putting in manual seats? Which is just a cop-out because that's basically the only kind of race seats that Hyundai has in their Hyundai Kia has in their portfolio.
That might be why.
And they're basically lifted from the Elantra/Veloster N,
where they are manual because
they're
lighter.
It's okay in a $40,000 hot hatch, but in a $75,000 flagship.
Yeah, but an EV6 is the $40,000 hot hatch with a $30,000 battery pack in it. That's what you're missing here. Electricity costs money. You're paying for a lot of lithium in the two motors. There's a lot of copper in there.
Well, I guess where I'm coming from is that I can't justify the EV6 when the GV60 performance is already
I get what you're saying.
Less powerful, but just as thrilling, and it's just as willing to bludgeon you over the head with instant torque off the line. It's just as entertaining off the line.
Yeah, I get that. Wasn't the argument that the EV6 GT is supposed to be because of the drift mode? It's the one that handles because EVs prior to that did not turn good, and then the EV6 rolls up like, "Yo, we turn good." Wasn't that the whole thing?
Yeah, but I mean,
what is the cost of turning good?
Manual seats versus turning good.
There you go. Well, you need the manual seats because they have extra bolstering so you can turn more good.
I guess.
Well, you gotta be hating.
Because every time my wife drives my car, I have to readjust the seat, and it's so difficult to do that with manual seats and levers. It's much easier to just push a button and have the electric motors do it for you.
That sounds like a you problem, for one. And two, that sounds like another stupid thing journalists bitch about.
God damn it.
We're so pampered with our stupid leather everything and power everything. And I genuinely get pissy if a press car doesn't have ventilated seats. I've become so spoiled with this. And correct, do you not get this as well? It's got to be vented seats, has to have adaptive cruise, has to have pano. Otherwise, I don't fucking want it.
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair. I get it.
Oh yeah, the lower. I noticed that the lower door cards are hard plastic, and that is a visual high traffic area that you're gonna touch the lower doors a lot. So, and I don't appreciate that on this $24 vehicle that they're not wrapped in dead cows.
Do you
I think that's kind of bad.
Do you not caress every single surface?
No.
When you drive?
This baffles me to death. I don't get this. When I was in LA last year and I was still super new to this, not to say that I'm not new now, but I was much more new then. I was covering the LA Auto Show kind of loosely. And on press day, it floored me that journalists would line up to get into a car and just molest everything. oh, buttons, headliner, dash, lowered, and like get out of this like brand new Honda Accord. That's a beautifully appointed vehicle, and get out and shake their heads like, oh, lower door cards are really fucking Tupperware. Like, I don't get it. Who is molesting the lower dash? It is a nice detail thing on like higher value cars. It's a nice thing I appreciate.
Yeah.
We're like, okay, you got a leather wrap dash. You have like, or in the case of this old 140 Benz, like thick wool carpet all the way up like the lower half of the dash. Like the knee panel's all wool. It's gorgeous.
Nice.
And on that caliber of car, I expect it. But it's just kind of strikes me as a dumb journalisty nitpick to be like, oh, it's hard plastics. More hard plastics than I would like at this touch point. I just don't appreciate it. It's a very Volkswagen thing to have these touch points, these hard plastics. It belies the fact that it's not an Audi. It's very much a Volkswagen. And this Canyon Denali also has, but like on a Denali, it should have a leather wrap dash. So like there's merit to it. I don't know. How much more would that be to make the interior a little more special?
We are our owners. We are our own worst enemies.
Yeah.
So what do we got coming next week?
Next week, I don't remember. Next week we have a Silverado 2500 HD.
We do. You are swapping your little truck for a big truck.
A huge truck.
Very big.
Yeah. Which I'm kind of looking forward to because I think that one's also a diesel if my memory serves, right? So another giant diesel HD truck.
Nice. We have a second truck next week. We have the refreshed Honda Ridgeline Touring.
Is that a truck?
It has a bed.
It has a bed. I like those.
It's all the truck you need.
I'm looking forward to checking that out.
You had the last one, right?
No, I never had one.
I thought you had the last one.
I actually dibs to that Passport Ridgeline because I wanted to play with it.
Oh.
And it's been like moved around like 4 times just because of like scheduling snafus.
Ugh. We got a Volkswagen Taos as well, which is a
it's hard touch plastics on the lower doors.
Yes.
I don't appreciate that.
Yes. With Volkswagen, I want nothing but the best fit. No. It is an car-shaped car.
But it's a good car-shaped car that sells very well.
Yeah.
Well enough to have murdered the indomitable Golf.
Yep. At least in North America. And we have more Mach-E next week. So this week we spent the week with the Mach-E Premium Long Range. Next week we got the fast one. We got the Mach-E GT.
The juicy Mach-E. So we can just have this whole debate again with Imran and or Rush.
Yes.
And see what they think about my Continental idea, the Continental Thunderbird idea.
Precisely.
Very good. I just thought of that on the spot right now. Honest to God, like the Thunderbird thing I've had cooking in my head for a while, but like the Continental thing, I'm pretty proud of that.
That's good improvisation, man.
Yeah. Someone's stealing that for sure.
Yep.
Okay.
All right. Well, thank you all for tuning in on to lucky episode number 13. If you wish to keep tabs on our adventures, and you totally should, you can follow along at DoubleClutch.ca on socials. We're on Facebook and Insta. And, yeah, we'll see you next week, Nathan.
Thanks for tuning in, guys.